Hi, this is Lachey Jennings, Jenny Honeycutt, and Kelsey Lawson as our special guest today for our Fomca Moments uh, for May 2021. We just want to give a shout out before we get started with our talk today to say thank you, Madison County Public Library, for posting Fomca Moments on your website. And Jenny, I guess we will also say sorry for being late in the month of May.
Yes,
It's kind of the end of the month, but we
yes.
are seeing a great turnout of views on the subscription list through the Madison County Public Library for Fomca Moments, and we definitely want to keep up the momentum and keep it going. Um,
Absolutely.
so also we started last month with talking about feral cat communities and the work that Fomca is doing in that area. This month we are pausing from the feral cat topic. We definitely will get back to that topic. That is a huge topic and one that we have a lot of work to do as a community and as Fomca as a nonprofit organization serving our community. But today it is a very timely talk with Kelsey Lawson from the Meadow Ranch because she has some exciting news about some dog training classes that we have learned, Jeannie and I have learned that she is an expert at. And this is a screenshot of the Meadow Ranch website. If you just, I guess the URL is themeadowranch.com. And this is the image that you will see, a lovely photo of Kelsey and her family. And Kelsey, I'm going to let you just jump in here and tell us a
For
little bit
sure.
about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jenny and Lachey, for having me come on and be able to talk to you guys and share about our ranch here. So basically, my family and I just moved here last June from Illinois. My husband grew up in Asheville, and so we brought our family here for him to work in the family business. And as a mom of two, I was looking for a way to have something that I am like super passionate about and have been doing since I was, uh, like 10 or 11 years old. And the Meadow Ranch just kind of started from that. So it is a dog training facility in Marshall that we just started this past March. And like I said, I've been training dogs for the past, almost 20 years. I started working with my mom. She was a dog trainer and grew up in 4-H training our family dog, and then later on my own dogs in obedience and then in agility competitively. And so now that we've moved here, we have our own place that is like perfect for offering classes and helping people to have dogs that are not just a joy for them to be around, but enjoyable for everybody to be around. And so that's kind of my goal with the Meadow Ranch, is like giving people the knowledge and the foundation that they need to be able to have dogs that they're going to have for the rest of their lives, that we keep dogs from ending up in situations where they need rescued because families have dogs that they really, really love and really want to be around because they're great companions and that's what they've raised them to be.
Absolutely. And definitely the people of Madison County, I don't know, Jenny, if you'll agree with this. I think maybe because it's such a rural place, I mean, the people of Madison County are animal lovers.
Okay.
Mhm.
If it's
Yes,
like domestic dogs, cats, indoor animals, and of course, farm animals
Yeah.
too.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So Jenny, or not Jenny, Kelsey, when someone calls you, and I can see that you're on Walnut Creek
Yeah.
here at the bottom of the screen, and then you have your number, or they send you an email and they want to sign up for the upcoming classes.
Yeah.
What's the process from there
Yeah.
forward?
So if people are interested, classes are going to be starting up coming in June. They're going to be a variety of like days and times. We'll usually have sessions that are like 6 weeks long. In the slotted class that you pick. And so we're offering puppy classes, obedience classes, if you have adult dogs that kind of need to go back to some foundation training. And then we'll also be having agility classes, which agility is basically an obstacle course for dogs. That's super, super fun. Um, and yeah, so those will be starting in June. You can find all the information on themeadowranch.com. Or if you do have questions about like where your dog might fit into classes or things like that, yeah, you can always email, call, or text me the information that's on the website. But the website does give, like, you can look at the class description, the different days, and then the different times of classes are all on the website. Right now, our most popular class is by far the puppy class. I feel like because of COVID and all that stuff, everybody's got a puppy that needs like some help with puppy training, and like getting started in puppy training and getting your puppy off to the right foot is like the best thing that you can do for your family and your puppy. And these classes are like perfect for that. We cover everything from, crate training questions, biting and chewing questions, jumping, to just walking, on a leash nicely, or, your basic things like come, sit down. I will say, like, the most important thing to teach your puppy is to come, and that coming is always good. So if there's anything that people like need to remember for their dogs, is teach them to come. Don't let them run away from you. Like,
Yes, and I fall in that category for purchasing a puppy during COVID.
yeah,
Because yeah, I definitely fall in that category.
Well, and people are lonely.
Yeah,
We're all
exactly.
isolated, and well, we're coming out of it now, but have been kind of shut indoors in the midst of a pandemic. So yeah, it's puppy training time.
Yeah, exactly.
So Kelsey, is there like a sliding scale for cost, or is that something that you handle individually with your clients?
Yeah, so pretty much with cost of classes, there's like a fixed cost. If you were to do the 6 week session, is $120, and then it's an hour class that meets weekly for that session. And then I do offer private sessions either here on our ranch, or I can do in-home private sessions, and those are pretty much booked through the website. And they have different like time options that you can choose. So we can work on specific things with puppies or adult dogs that are maybe behaviors that they display at home that they're not displaying when they're at a facility that has 10 other dogs there at the same time, because they're too distracted to do the things that they would maybe normally be doing. Like, for example, I went out to somebody's farm and helped them with their dog chasing chickens. And we talked about the things that they can do to work through that stuff with their own dog on their own farm, because, if they're coming to my training facility, there's not really going to just be chickens running through the training center for them to like work through with their dogs. And so things like that are just like perfect settings to have sessions that are going to be at people's houses that we can work through and talk through, their own dog's specific needs for what's going to help them have the best dog for their family.
This is a great service, and I foresee a future for you where you are extremely busy. You're already a busy lady. So let's move forward to what people can expect whenever they do enroll their puppy in a class. We took some video footage here. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so what you're seeing here is a clip from one of our previous puppy classes. And what we're working on here is a little bit one of the later classes in the session. And so basically what we're doing is we're shaping, which is a foundational form of training that we use, shaping the puppies to go to a place. And so what you see on the ground are some blankets, and we basically are teaching the puppies that when we put this down on the ground and we tell them place or whatever it is that we want to command it, they go to that spot and then they lay down on it. And so right now the puppies are at a stage of it where like we're just rewarding the interactions with the blanket, and then working our way up to getting them to lay down and offer those behaviors. And this is useful in like numerous situations, and you can transfer this to like commanding your puppy to go to the crate or commanding them to go, you know, to a certain thing in the house. Like if you're eating dinner and you don't want your dog to be at your feet waiting for food, you can send them to their place and they'll go there and stay there until you tell them that they can come out.
Excellent information. Here's another clip. I love this
Yeah.
clip. You called this shaping?
Yeah, well, so that's the kind of training that we use. And so basically what you do with shaping is you're not just like always luring your dog or physically putting your dog into positions that you want them to do. You're teaching them to think for themselves and to offer behaviors for you, so that one, they enjoy learning and they enjoy training, and it's really fun to watch them figure things out. So basically you are essentially standing neutral and you're waiting for them to offer correct behavior. So for example, with this mat, you place it on the ground, and as soon as they look at it, you're marking and rewarding that behavior. And marking means, like, if you're familiar with clicker training at all, it's the click. I use the word yes because I don't always have a clicker with me, but I have my voice with me all the time. And so basically you're saying yes when they do the right thing, and you're neutral when they're not really interacting with it. And then you wait for them to put one paw on it and you mark it, and then two paws. And it's always a gradual progression of correct behavior, and you wait for them to continue offering in the right steps.
Very nice. Well, Jenny, do you think I missed any questions for Kelsey?
I don't think so. I think this is a great service. And so I'm glad she's here with us in Madison County now.
Absolutely. And I also, from an earlier conversation, we were talking about your involvement with 4-H. And I know with Jenny being a teacher, and I'm a teacher too, college level now, but I spent 12 years in the elementary school classroom, and I'm a mother to a 9-year-old. So 4-H, my ears kind of perk up when
Yeah.
4-H.
Yeah.
Tell us a
So
little bit about your involvement with that.
for sure. So myself growing up, I grew up in 4-H, competing in 4-H competitions with dogs and horses and chickens and pretty much anything else I could do with animals. And so 4-H was super like important to me as a dog trainer, to grow up having so many different trainers influence me and offer training advice and help as a young youth that was competing in 4-H. And so right now I'm working with the Madison County Extension Office to put together a dog training program for the youth in 4-H of Madison County. And so we'll do some sort of 6 or 8 week obedience course that kids will be able to attend with just their family dogs. And then we'll have a 4-H dog show in coordination with the county fair. That's like what the culmination of all of the 4-H dog training will be. So I know there hasn't been a 4-H dog training program in Madison County. And as far as I know, there's not really a huge 4-H dog training program statewide. So I'm really looking forward to being able to kind of start that with the youth of the county, because it was such a pivotal thing for me growing up. And number one, it's so much fun for kids to have
my daughter would
with their
so be
dogs,
into
and
this.
just like help them to have family dogs that can be even better than probably what they already are right now, and help kids to learn how to train and have a good foundation of training, so that as they go throughout their life, you know, they get a puppy when they're in their 20s or something, and they'll have that training that they learned as a youth with them for their whole life, because I know I have.
Absolutely. And Jenny, that makes me think about Fomca and what we could do. I wrote myself a note to see if we could do a Fomca tent at the fair at that 4-H.
Oh yeah, that would be so much fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have to look into that more. So,
Yeah.
Kelsey, not to put you on the spot, but Jenny and I thought we were so excited about interviewing you for Fomca Moments today that we wanted to pick your brains about our own fur babies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Take it away.
So
Jenny.
yeah, so I will introduce you. This is my parents' dog, Lily. And she is just the sweetest thing ever. And she's probably somewhere between 2 and 3 years old now. She's about 69 pounds, which is normal weight for her. The vet said she's in perfect health. Now, just to give you a little background too, we live on a farm and we own close to 14 acres.
Okay.
So during the day, she's out and running and, you know, can explore and play
Yeah.
all over the farm. And so she gets lots of exercise. She's totally crate trained. She does really well with all that. She's got the sweetest personality. What we're working on right now is I would love to be able to like just take her on walks or go hiking and things like that with her, but on a leash, and probably too because she's used to just going wherever she wants to go on the farm when she's outside. If she wants to go in a direction that's not where you're wanting to lead her with the leash, she will stub up and just kind of like all 4 feet dug into the ground and will pull backwards on the leash. And she's a master at like getting out of her collar.
Okay.
And then she's like, woohoo, I'm free. And good luck catching me. I'm gonna she's just skipping all around the farm. And so we've been working like with a halter, rather than just a neck collar. And I've been trying to work just with her getting used to what that feels like on her and rewarding her with treats for letting me put it on her and then just letting her hang out in the house with it. But even with the halter, if she doesn't want to go with you that direction, she will still get herself out of it. So any suggestions there?
Yeah. So to start off with, what I would say is you're at least on the right track getting her used to the new equipment that you're going to be putting on her to try to get her to walk with you. To start, I would say probably just leave the leash on her all the time.
Okay.
So that she's used to the leash kind of just being there and being a part of like when she's walking around freely, like there's just a leash on, because if she's used to being loose and walking around and not really used to being on a leash and she feels like the leash is keeping her from doing the things she wants to do, her realizing that the leash isn't inhibiting her, and she can still run around the farm and do the things she wants to even if the leash is on, I think will help. And then a couple things between the collar and then like things that you can actively do to work with her. If she's wearing a collar that she's slipping out of, it's probably too loose.
Okay.
And so even if you don't want to keep it super tight all the time for when she's running around the farm, because it's probably safer for her to be able to slip out of it.
Right.
When you're doing leash training sessions, you probably want to have it tight enough that it's not going to slip off of her.
Okay.
Because like you're saying, if she knows that she can just pull it off a certain angle and get it out and just run away from you, then then it's like useless. So so get it to where typically you want the collar tight enough that it's not going to slip off, but you can still fit 2 to 3 fingers underneath the collar.
Okay.
And then what I would do for her is I'm always going to have treats in my hand when I'm working on the leash training, because I always want her to have a positive association with that. And then when she's walking along well, I'm going to be praising her, talking to her the whole time, telling her how good of a dog she is when she's coming along, rewarding her randomly as she's walking correctly with me. And then if she does the thing where she just stops and pulls back and doesn't want to move, I'm not going to correct her for that, because I want her to know that walking on the leash is a good thing. So instead of correcting, I'm just going to wait her out. So she knows I have the treats in my hand. She knows that I'm wanting her to continue on. And so I'm just going to hold a steady pressure on the leash and wait for her to make the next move. If she wants to keep pulling back, then I'm just going to let her do that. I'm not going to jerk on the leash. I'm not going to, pull her any tighter than what she's like maintaining on the leash, and wait for her to just give me one step forward. And as soon as she gives me one step forward, I'm going to praise her and have like a big party with her, telling her how good of a dog she is for releasing that pressure herself.
Okay. Awesome. We will try that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Kelsey, I want to introduce you to Rosie. She was our COVID puppy. We adopted her. She's an Australian cattle dog, very high energy. My daughter Zoe, pictured with Rosie here, just absolutely adores her.
Yeah.
Rosie is high energy. She loves being on the farm. Here's a video of her she just naturally herds the
That's
goats.
awesome.
But my biggest issue with Rosie is that she jumps.
Yeah.
When we have visitors at the house, she
Yeah.
jumps on them. When Zoe has her little girlfriends,
Right.
at our house playing, she jumps.
Yeah.
Any advice?
Yeah, for sure. So that's a pretty common problem, pretty common behavior for dogs to display. And for me personally, I like having my dogs keep all 4 feet on the ground when they're meeting new people all the time. And I think that's really good that that's something that you want your dog to do. So, what I would say for that is it's going to be kind of like a process of teaching it. So, one, your dog needs to have a job when somebody is coming over so that she knows, okay, if somebody's walking into the door that's a new person, my job isn't to go over there and jump up on them. My job is to go to my place or come to you, or whatever criteria you want to set for her to have as her job when someone comes over. Place is usually a good one, because then if you're not involved in that scenario, they'll still go to it because you've trained them to do that. And then to begin with, I would have her on a leash when someone comes over. And then pretty much you're going to set up situations where you have people come over just so you can train a correct greeting and a polite greeting for Rosie. And so what that looks like is, one, the person is going to basically, anytime Rosie jumps up on them, they're going to turn and face the other direction, because what she's looking for is attention. And so if every time she jumps she doesn't get the attention that she wants, that association is going to click in her head that, like, oh, every time I jump someone ignores me, but every time all 4 of my feet are on the ground, then that person can praise and turn around and pet her and greet her and give her the love that she's wanting from them. And then the other part of that is, if she's on the leash, you have the ability to control her and kind of keep it from getting out of hand. So we're not going to keep her from making the mistake, because that's not really training our dog, that's just prevention. And prevention is good for certain behaviors, but other things like are behaviors that we want to proof with our dogs. And so I would say jumping is one of those things, because I want to know that even in the hardest, most tempting scenario, my dog is still not going to jump up on somebody, like a little kid with food in their hands, or somebody who's talking in a really high pitched voice and throwing their hands in the air. Like, that's a really tempting
Yes.
situation for a dog to want to jump up and say hi or steal the food or things like that. And so we're going to set our dog up to be able to be successful in that by putting them in situations when we're training that are going to push those limits, and getting them to be successful in training in those, so that when we run into those situations in real life, we know how our dog's going to behave, and we don't have to guess or skirt around things, because we can trust in what we've taught our dog. So for her being on the leash, you're going to just kind of let her meet the leash a little bit faster than she thought that she was going to. So it's not going to look like you're not trying to hurt your dog, you're not trying to make this some sort of scary situation, but like, it's going to be uncomfortable if she jumps up and hits the end of the leash faster than she thought she was going to when she goes to jump up on somebody. Because we don't want her to scratch people, we don't want her to like hurt a kid if she were to jump up and knock them over. Like, it's important that she learns this. So by having the person turn away from her and not give her the attention she wants, and by making jumping up be something that's uncomfortable and not really enjoyable for her, those two things are going to communicate to her the correct behavior. And the most comfortable and most fun behavior for me is to keep all my feet on the ground, and then I'm not having any discomfort with the leash, I'm not having any like being ignored by the person that I really want to see right now. And then also, once you get that stuff done, she can go to her place and just completely ignore people coming in and wait until the whole situation has calmed down, you know, because they're way more high energy when someone first gets there than if they've been there for 10 minutes and everybody's just kind of doing their own thing, and you can go over and say hi to a calm dog that's been laying in their place for 10 minutes because she's no longer on that like high of, oh my goodness, there's a new person here, like I have to say hi to him right now. She's kind of lost that edge of that, so to speak, and now is a really good time for her to get greeted because she's not displaying all that same high energy stuff that she was 10 minutes prior.
Thank you so much. I am going to get started rehearsing for that. I have to invite people to my house just to practice.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So much knowledge and so many great things that Kelsey Lawson at the Meadow Ranch can contribute to Madison County animals, and we at Fomca are thrilled to be able to introduce you through the Fomca Moments, and
I appreciate it.
and you will more than likely see me and Rosie and Zoe at your next puppy training class.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be
Otherwise, I just want to remind folks that you know, we're always here at fomca.org or 828-649-9798. Give us a call at Fomca to schedule a spay and neuter, or hit us up with any other questions, whether it be resources in the county such as Kelsey and the Meadow Ranch, or feral cat, help with feral cat colonies, flea and tick medication needs. Jenny, what am I forgetting? What else? Other outreach, dog houses.
I think you covered it.
Fencing. We've been involved in all of those activities. Please remember that there is also a portal with which we welcome donations at fomca.org. Our nonprofit organization relies 100% on contributions from individual benefactors as well as grant monies. We are also actively researching grants all the time to benefit our animals and residents of Madison County. And we hope everyone has a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.